Yikes. Ugh. Okay. I gotta do something about that, that's for sure. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm a little bit behind schedule today. Didn't get a good night's sleep last night at all. I don't know what's going on, but it just feels like there are chemicals in the air that are just making me very, very nervous at nighttime. And anyway, that's what I'm going through. It is day 371 here in the classroom, and so I am really, really warm. Not because it's 371 in the classroom, but basically because I haven't been getting a good night's sleep. So I need to get some water for sure. I've been running my, which maybe I shouldn't do, but running my Rife treatments to help me a little bit, and that always gets rid of the toxins in the body. And when you get rid of the toxins in the body, well, they come out in your sweat. And so my body feels like it's really hot today. So let me go actually, and I'm gonna put on, which I haven't done in a while, I'm gonna put on a little bit of music for you, and I'll be right back. maybe it's not going to go on to the next one. The next one I am absolutely certain I heard. Oh, it is. Where's our music? Even more warmed up, but again, it gets those endorphins going and part of your reward system. So the nights have been really hard for me, And they've been hard because it feels like there are chemicals in my body, is all I can say. And they help make my night times terrible. My nights have been really bad. I've been having bad dreams, and literally, like a burning sensation on my skin, and literally shaking. It feels like nerve gas is what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like, nerve gas. But I don't know, it's not like I'm like, hey, let's try some nerve gas and see what that does. So I don't really know, but let's get to it here in the classroom anyway. One of the things, as I've been saying, is even though these things are a distraction, it's fine to have distractions to keep your mind off of ruminating, especially when the distraction is not sinful. See? And lots of people don't like that word, right? It's so judgmental. But if I'm not doing something like, for example, in anger, I can have anger, but if I sin when I'm angry, that's not good. And that's really kind of what I am doing. Not kind of, I have been sinning when I get angry. So a distraction from the things that are making you sad or angry, in order to produce something that's productive, that actually brings about more dopamine in your brain. So I'm not quite sure what to do about the nighttime. One of the things I did do last night at about 9 o'clock is I went and I bought this Honeywell air filter, and I put it right next to my head eventually, and it helped. But I was up a lot last night, and this morning when I woke up, I was nervous. I was nervous all over my body. And I didn't necessarily have a reason in my head to be nervous, so it really was a bodily reaction. And as you know, the pharmaceuticals are not really, they're not evidence, number one. And number two, they do have, just because it doesn't have scientific evidence doesn't mean it doesn't work, right? It could work. But from what I understand, all of the side effects are exactly what you're trying to get rid of with that medication. So I understand that people feel that they benefit from the medication, and that's good. That's good if you feel like you benefit from it. I wouldn't want somebody to stop medication if they truly are getting benefits from it. That's for sure. What I am trying to show you, though, is a way that I'm trying to do it without medication. And this is rough. It has been rough. It has been rough in isolation. It has been rough being separated from our families. And that is what we need. Our families, people who love us, we need to be surrounded by that love in order to conquer our mental health problems and our mental health issues. As I said, I was put in McLaren, and in that experience, they were doing nothing at all to help those patients. They started doing some arts and crafts, but they really were arts and crafts that were for third graders, and they weren't giving you any kind of information about the medication that you were taking, about what they were doing for you, what their program was all about. None of it. You sat there like a vegetable. And like I said, one of the women completely naked walking up and down the halls, and they did nothing. So it is more of a psychological abuse. And from what I've seen from the prisons, it's exactly the same thing. They have the only food that you get, well, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it because it just reminds me of some bad times. But let's get into cooperation and conflict resolution. This is day 23 of our character building program. And yesterday we read the story of rebuilding the temple. Oh, that's 270. That's not what I want. Or rebuilding of Jerusalem. So the entire city really is surrounding the temple. So we left off yesterday after reading this story, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to read to you about how the Israelites had been conquered over the years. So here are the conquering nations, and so here's our map right here. Here's the kingdom of Israel and Judah. So you could see that right here. Let's go and get our I wonder why this is so dark. That's too bad it's so dark. But it'll work for sure. So here are our conquering nations. There is the map. And so you can see that the hatch lines are the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. I think Judah is to the north, but you know what? That one I'm not sure of. So there you can see here where the hatch lines are all the way up here, and then where those hatch lines are over here. So those are areas of the kingdom of Israel and Judah. The pink is the Assyrian Empire, and we've studied that before. You can see some of these conquering areas right here. We read about Jonah leaving Nineveh, right? And then there's Jerusalem right there. So that's the whole area right over here. In there. That's the whole area that they had to rebuild. So let's just quick take a look at, that's not what I wanted to do. These conquering nations as we do some reading here. There's lots of fans here to keep me cool. So you're going to hear a lot of fans in the background. I've got the air filter running, my Honeywell air filter running, and I also have the fan running as well. So in the 600 years between 900 BC and 300 BC, the people of Israel and Judah were conquered by three powerful nations from the east. First, the Assyrians, followed by the Babylonians, and then the Persians. The Assyrians. For many years, the Assyrians had a powerful and very skilled army. From 750 BC, they were a constant threat to Israel and Judah. The Bible describes the attacks of the Assyrian king Sennacherib on the cities of Judah. Many carved stone panels or reliefs have been found in Nineveh, the Assyrian capital city, showing their army, which was well equipped with chariots, bowmen, spearmen, and siege towers. The Assyrians recorded their history on clay tablets and cylinders, and that's actually on a cylinder where we ended up finding Cyrus the Great and what he had done by returning all of those. Let's go ahead and take a look at that actually. finding the decrees to return all of these things to Israel. And then all the things, and then all the people, all the families who should be returned as well. So many ads. So many ads. All right. There's that bird again. In 1853, archaeologists at Nineveh found a clay tablet describing a great flood that destroyed all life. It is similar in many ways to the story in the Bible about Noah and the ark. The version found at Nineveh is called the Epic of Gilgamesh, which we read about in our literature book, or read from. Because one of the main characters is Gilgamesh, a hero king. And remember, that is the difference between the Bible and these historical stories of kings and their empires. They're always the heroes, right? So pride cometh before a fall. We got to throw some of that. She knows a little scripture in there. The Assyrians worshipped a god called Ashur, whose main temple was at Assur. The temple at Nineveh was for worship of Ishtar, the goddess of war and love. Other gods were linked to different aspects of life. Nabu with wisdom, and Ninurta with hunting. The Babylonians. Later, the Assyrians became less powerful until in 612 BC, the Babylonians captured Nineveh and began to conquer the Assyrian Empire. The Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar soon ruled Judah, but when that area became rebellious, he ordered the temple in Jerusalem to be destroyed. This was in 586 BC. At the same time, large numbers of people were forced to live in exile in Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar made use of the finest craftsmen to rebuild the city of Babylon. The walls and the hanging gardens were among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The northern entrance to the city was guarded by the Ishtar Gate. And we've had that before too, right? We've shown that before. There's the Ishtar Gate. I don't think I didn't pull it up, and I wasn't going to. I don't think I could get it up quick enough anyway. I probably could. There it is. So we can still see, not you yet, but we can still see, click this, click another one. And there's the Ishtar Gate. How amazing is that? Okay, let's keep going. which was covered in brilliant blue tiles decorated with bulls and dragons. Two of the main buildings were a grand palace and a temple dedicated to Marduk. The temple was at the top of the ziggurat, or tower, that stood over 330 feet, around 100 meters high. Some people say that it was the building referred to in the story of the Tower of Babel. That would be amazing now, wouldn't it? That is amazing. In spite of the beauty of the city, many of the people who had come from Judah longed for their homeland. They wrote about their weeping for Jerusalem as they sat by the river Euphrates, the waters of Babylon. While in exile, they began to meet together and worship God in buildings which became known as synagogues. But the temple in Jerusalem remained the place where they most wanted to carry out their worship. And then the Persians. Babylonia's glory only lasted until 539 BC, when Cyrus the Great, king of Persia, and also called the Anointed One, invaded the country and attacked the capital city. He entered it by diverting the river Euphrates and marching his soldiers along the dried up riverbed. The Cyrus cylinder in British Museum records records his feelings. As I entered Babylon peacefully and took up my seat of government in the royal palace amid rejoicing and exultation, Marduk the great lord inclined the hearts of the Babylonians toward me. Cyrus controlled an empire that stretched over an area of 3,000 miles, 500 kilometers, and was divided into 20 provinces. He made the Persian Empire richer by avoiding war, and he sent exiles back to their homelands. So he kept his people, but he sent those exiles back to, in our case, we're talking Jerusalem. So after 50 years, the people of Judah, the Jews, returned to Jerusalem. I'm going to turn off that air because now we've got a third or fourth fan going on. I don't even know. So let's take a look now at our PowerPoint that we have ready for us. On rebuilding Jerusalem from yesterday. So this is from yesterday. The slide. Oh, let's not do it right there. The title slide is from yesterday, all right? So here's our title slide for today. Cooperation and conflict, but we're going to start with the title slide from yesterday on our PowerPoint, okay? And now what I just wanted to show you was a timeline that I actually got from AI. And this shows you, was far more interesting. And what they talk about in Ezra, in the Bible, the book of Ezra, is really an amazing story from the Bible. I love that story. I also love these stories in here, which are also from the Bible as well. So just wonderful groupings of this one unbelievable historical event that shows cooperation across time and across religions and kingdoms as well. That to me is just really some icing on the cake. 538 BC is the decree of Cyrus the Great. Cyrus conquers Babylon and issues his famous decree allowing the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. That's from Ezra chapter 1. In 536 BC, so remember we're going, the numbers are going lower, not higher, for more time. The altar and foundation. The first wave of exiles arrives. The first wave arrives under Zerubbabel. They rebuild the altar and lay the foundation of the temple, but intense local opposition halts construction. And if you read the story of Ezra, you'll find out that they came to try and knock the walls down every time that the Jews started building the walls. That's the reason why Nehemiah in our story was so sad, that he wanted that city built, but really having great trouble getting the city built because there were so many people from the kingdom of Persia, or maybe Babylon at the time, I'm not sure. No, it would be Persia, that didn't know about the decree and were just like, yeah, forget about it. You guys got your freedom. You're not taking our gold and silver. No, you already gave it back, or that was the decree. Anyway, in 520 BC, the decree of Darius the First. After a 16-year shutdown, the prophets Haggai and Zechariah spur the people to build. Opponents object, leading to the dramatic search for the royal archives where Cyrus's original scroll is found. Darius reaffirms it. He says, yeah, that's what Cyrus the Great said. Who was his father or grandfather? Probably his father. That's what he said. That's what's going to be done. But the building of the temple didn't get done until much later. 516 BC, the temple completed. That's the temple. The second temple is finished and dedicated. You can read about that in Ezra as well. Ezra's only 4 chapters, I believe. So it's pretty easy to follow along. 458 BC, the decree of Artaxerxes, I think that's what it was, right? Artaxerxes. I could go back, but I can't. I don't think I could find it quickly. Ezra is, just to let you know, no, Ezra is 10 chapters. Ezra is not only 4 chapters, Ezra is 10 chapters. No, I am not going to be able to find that. Pronunciation. I probably closed it down. Okay, I'm not, oh, there it is. All right. Decree of Artaxerxes the first, year 7 in the building, or year 7. I'm not sure why it was year 7. King Artaxerxes I issues a decree granting Ezra the scribe wide authority to restore civil magistrates, appoint judges, and bring a second wave of exiles back to Jerusalem. So apparently they all weren't back to Jerusalem, and maybe many of them were saying, I'm not going back to that rebel city. I'm just fine over here. And then after the rebuilding of the temple, they come back as well. And now also they're getting a government as well. By 444 BC, the decree of Artaxerxes the first, year 20, maybe of his reign is probably what it is. Maybe. Nehemiah hears that Jerusalem's walls and gates are still destroyed. He asks Artaxerxes for permission to rebuild them. Artaxerxes issues a formal royal decree providing safe passage, timber, and military escorts specifically to rebuild the city and its fortifications. Now, one of the things I have to say that I think that also might be going on is that they keep cleaning. I don't know how many times they've been up in that upper apartment, including yesterday. So some of this is likely the chemicals that can be from their pesticides that they spray up there, from their paint that they spray in these apartments, and then keeping them closed in order to keep it cool or to not hear that bird out there keeps me in these toxic chemicals. So I've got to get out, and when I start driving around, I feel a lot better. But when I go to sleep at nighttime, and again, like I said, they were there yesterday again, and there she is with their, I don't know, chemicals, spick and span, whatever she's got, spray, whatever they have, and that is part of what would give you this kind of nerve poisoning. These pesticides that they are using in these apartments. So they're making people sick. And people know what those pesticides do. They know how many times they've been up there with an empty apartment doing what? Over and over again. With cleaning people is what I mean. I don't know. I don't know why it has to be the one right above me. All right, so now we are finishing off our list of responsibilities. When you agree to do something, do it. Isn't that what Cyrus the Great did? He agreed. He decided to free the exiles, to let them go back to their homeland and only worry about his own people. Go back to your homeland, and he stuck by that. He agreed to do it, and he stuck by it, and he taught his son to do the same thing. Number 2, don't put things off. No, I can't say that wasn't put off, but it wasn't put off the rebuilding of the city. But it wasn't put off by Cyrus the Great. Be trustworthy. So he had a record of all of the gold, all of the silver, and all the people to return all of their things. Always use your head. And so what did they do? They did research. Let's go back to the cylinders. Oh, and you know what? That reminds me. One of the things we didn't look at is we didn't look at the pictures. Always, and here's one more. Always use your heart. God puts great nuggets in your heart, and this is the inspiration for what we end up doing. Think about it. If you're told to do something, but you don't believe in your heart it is necessary or even the right thing to do, you likely won't do it unless somebody forces you to do it. Right? So we use our heart. Cyrus the Great used his heart to better his people. And also he was aware of the fact that he was in the Bible. His name was written in the Bible. What does it say? What am I supposed to do? And then that's what he did. Let's take a minute back here to go back to these pictures so we can see what they are, because I wanted to see this clay tablet for sure. This is the Siege of Lachish. The limestone relief below is a detail of the Siege of Lachish, the city that was captured by the army of the Assyrian king Sennacherib. Sennacherib. The story of the battle is told in the wall reliefs from the Sennacherib's palace in Nineveh. So that's the story. And that should be the story of Gilgamesh, is what that is. Here, after the destruction of the temple, many people were taken to live in exile as slaves, exile taken from their homeland to live in Babylon. There we already looked at the map. The map above shows the three nations that conquered the people of Israel between 900 and 300 BC. A brick frieze of a Persian guard. So I guess that frieze would be tiles. And then we have the gateway to Babylon. There are the Hanging Gardens, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. The Ishtar Gate, the walls of the city. So you can see that their cities weren't very large, I guess. The Ishtar Gate decorated with enamel bricks of bulls and dragons. And then Nebuchadnezzar's palace built around 4 courtyards. So those are the pictures. And now we'll go back to our PowerPoint. So here's a list to follow. When you agree to do something, do it. Don't put things off. Be trustworthy. Always use your head, and always use your heart as well. Now, your head is going to tell you if your heart is leading you in the wrong direction. But your heart is where your beliefs are. Okay? And then try these new ideas in order to try and get a little more responsibility in your life. Design a weekly schedule for rest, recreation, TV viewing, schoolwork, sports, whatever you do. So that might help you stay on responsibilities if you say at 7 o'clock, I'm going to work on my schoolwork. I'm going to only watch TV for 1 hour a day. Or, I don't know if anyone watches TV anymore. They watch their phones now. I'm only going to be on my phone for a half an hour a day, scrolling for a half an hour a day. Stuff like that. Pick 3 things that you need to be constantly reminded about and write yourself a reminder. Post it where others can see. Now, why would you post your reminders where others can see? So they could remind you too, as well. So if you always forget to make your bed, put a Post-it note there, right? Or pick up your socks, or clean the bathroom. Whatever it is you forget to do, put a Post-it note, and I bet your parents will help remind you. Organize your room or play area. Use containers, drawers, etc. for your things. So that would help you be more responsible by staying more organized. Take on a new responsibility and tell your parents that they can count on you to take care of your new responsibility. And don't forget, we also have still that responsibility chart. Let's get to the last one and then we'll get there. Develop a chore chart for your parents that will correspond to getting paid an allowance. Does anyone get paid an allowance anymore? Raise your hand if you do. What? Nobody? Nobody out there? Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Huh. I'm not seeing it for some reason. Oh, maybe I know why. I do not know why. There we go. So there's our responsibility chart. Let me just make that smaller like this. If you remember, so there is your chore chart. And you can use these. The link is still below there. Your good behavior chart, which hopefully gets you paid a little bit more money. If you measure it. Healthy habits. Your manners chart. Getting ready for school chart. And then a blank chart that you can add anything to. Now I want to get to, since our title was cooperation, I do want to get to our cooperation chart, or starting our cooperation. So here we started with our red hawk. Hawks are universally considered a very good sign because hawks have incredible eyesight. They are associated with clear vision and perspective, giving the hawk a kind of discernment. Spiritually, it is a messenger of change, encouraging you to embrace new opportunities and purpose. In Native American traditions, the hawk symbolizes wisdom, courage, and guardianship. So remember, we talked about the ant and how diligent the ant is. So he is a great character champion for responsibility. The red hawk is a great character champion for cooperation. And cooperation is when we work together to solve problems, we are cooperating. And isn't that what Cyrus the Great was doing? Working together, cooperating to make things better for his homeland and for those exiles. Why cooperate? We cooperate most often because we need to get something done For example, like rebuilding a city. Okay, so this is Dr. Annette Feravich. You can call me Miss Annette if you want to. If you don't like that doctor title, getting mixed up with, MDs, which I am not. It is day 371 in the classroom. It is July 8th. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I am the owner, if I can get my name back and all things in order, which has really, really been very difficult. And I'm really sad about that because I really do enjoy this. And as you can see, despite how awful I feel at nighttime, I don't know what is going on there. I really can get my energy back when I'm doing something that I believe is for other people, helping other people become healthier in their mind, their body, and their spirit. Before we go, I want to show you one more thing that I forgot to show you yesterday, and that is that I finished the leather straps on my pair of shoes over the weekend too. So the leather projects I did was not just the bookmark, which as you can see is a little lopsided, but it works. I knew it was going to be lopsided. I don't know what to do about that. I start the heart in the middle right there. I don't know. And my second keychain, I also finished my shoes, and they fit. Now they don't hurt my feet because I don't have to curl my toes in order to keep them from falling off my feet. So the straps are working really well. This is the one I did first, and the strap is a little tighter than this one. I wish I would have tightened this up a little bit, but they both work really well. And I want to show you what it looks like, because here it looks a little bit, a little sloppy, but on the foot, I know it's a little silly. That really does, whoops, look just fine, even though that strap is homemade. So, showing off my feet, this is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks for joining me here in the classroom, again, where we are making your lives a little bit healthier in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit.